I actually hit those guys up and asked them, "Did y'all want to come to the game?" They were quick with it. They told me yeah, so I got them to the game, and that was pretty good seeing my guys at the game. And coming into the season, I just had goals to go really far in the playoffs. I really didn't have any goals on accomplishments, touchdown stats, or anything. I just wanted to play real good football and get back to the national championship with my team. And as you can see, we have a chance at doing that coming up.
Ivan Mizell, go ahead.
Hey, Jameson, have you ever seen Bryce get rattled on the field during the week or in a game?
I would say no, because if you were watching the game versus Auburn, we were down like 10-3, 40 seconds left. That last drive, Bryce had a smile on his face. So I would never say I've seen him rattled or intimidated by anything. He knows I feel like he has the mindset that he knows he's going to get the job done, and that's very great with Bryce and his mindset.
Did he? What's the most amazing thing you've seen him do since you got to Tuscaloosa?
Bryce makes a lot of plays, so I probably couldn't pin that down on one thing, but he amazes me a lot. With the running game he has, and also like some of the passes he makes is just incredible. Bryce is great.
Mike Rodek, you're next.
Jameson, did you see Georgia adjust at all after John went down, adjust their defense? And just what are you expecting going forward from defenses with John injured?
I wouldn't know what to expect going up. Pretty much coming up, we're going to watch a little film, see what these teams do, see what Cincinnati does and how they play things. But I didn't see – I seen a small adjustment, pretty much just over-the-top coverage after my guy Mesh went down. So that was pretty much it. But other than that, none really.
And just to follow up real quick on that, what was it like for you emotionally seeing him go down and suffer that injury?
It was harsh for me. You know, John, he's my brother. I mess with him real good. When I came in, he's one of the first guys to get me under his wing, and we just started kicking it. And that's my brother, man. It was pretty hard seeing that happen.
Charlie, go ahead.
Yeah, another question about Mechie. Just how much do you feel like you yourself have to kind of step up and kind of fill that void as well as the other receivers on the roster?
I feel like we all have to step up and do a better job. With Mesh going down, someone like we have receivers have to play a big part in the offense. I feel like all of us have to step up in some type of way, no matter who it is. I feel like we all have the big play mentality. So things shouldn't be very hard because I feel like we have a lot of talent in the room, and we just have to make plays.
Tony, go ahead.
Kind of a two-parter. What have you seen from both Trayshawn and Ja'Cory? And then how similar is there what they can do to what John could do, on the field?
I feel like those guys can do the same thing, honestly, because you've seen flashes of those guys early in the season, and the way they stepped up and made plays when their name was called. I feel like we're in good shape and everything, so I don't see any drop-offs happening, so that's a good thing.
Mike Rodek, go ahead.
And you've made a couple big plays in special teams the last couple games too. Just what were those conversations like when you were asked to play special teams, and what's it been like?
Actually, I asked to play special teams, and it's great, man. I just love being on the field. I'd rather be on the field on that fourth down and be on the sideline. So it's great just going down with my teammates, making a play. That's my mentality. Go down and make the tackle. I want 0 return yards, but I got a couple.
Any other questions for Jameson? Go ahead and raise your hand. All right. Thank you, Jameson. Bryce will be next.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to yet another edition of CBS 42 Now. We, as you just saw, heard from Jameson Williams, the star wide receiver for the Alabama Crimson Tide. This is, of course, a special press conference being held by the team to honor the 3 players who have received nominations for major national college football player awards. We just heard from Jameson. We will be hearing from Bryce Young, the quarterback of the Crimson Tide, next, followed by linebacker Will Anderson. I very quickly want to go over some of these major awards. One being very important. Bryce Young, the quarterback, has been nominated as a Heisman finalist for the college football season, where he has had just an outstanding season, leading the Crimson Tide to the #1 overall seed in the college football playoff, throwing 43 touchdowns with only 4 interceptions. Again, this is a live look from Tuscaloosa at the podium, where we will be hearing from him in just a matter of moments. Some of the other players nominated for that Heisman Trophy include Aiden Hutchinson, the defensive end for the Michigan Wolverines, the #2 seed in the college football playoff. Kenny Pickett, quarterback out of Pittsburgh, who had a very strong season, is the 3rd nominee, followed by C.J. Stroud, who had a phenomenal season for the Ohio State Buckeyes. Couldn't quite get it done getting them into the college football playoff. Again, Crimson Tide, as the #1 overall seed, will be taking on the Cincinnati Bearcats, the 4th seed, the first non-Power 5 conference team to reach the college football playoff. And of course, as I said earlier, Michigan, the 2 seed, will be taking on Alabama's previous opponent, the Georgia Bulldogs, who come in at the 3 seed. And as I mentioned, we just heard from Jameson Williams, the outstanding wide receiver for the Crimson Tide. He has been nominated for the Biletnikoff Award, which goes out to the best wide receiver in the country. And he has a pretty difficult field with that one. He will be taking on Jordan Addison out of Pittsburgh, as well as David Bell, the Purdue standout. And as I mentioned, Bryce Young being named for plenty of awards, including that Heisman Trophy. He's also been named the Walter Camp finalist for the most outstanding player on the offensive side of the football, the Maxwell Player of the Year award, as well as the Davey O'Brien Award for the best quarterback in the country. And again, we will be hearing from Will Anderson Jr., who leads the country in sacks this season at 15.5 so far, with 2 games, at least one more game to go, but hopefully the Crimson Tide can knock out the Bearcats in that first round and get at least to the national championship and possibly repeat as national champions. He's having an outstanding season. He has been nominated for the Bednarik Defensive Player of the Year award across the country, and he also last night won the Bronco Nagurski Most Outstanding Player on the defensive side of the ball. So congratulations to Will. We will be hearing from him towards the end of this special called press conference. Again, just heard from Jameson Williams. We will be hearing from Bryce Young in just a matter of moments, and you will be hearing his comments about the awards, being a finalist for the Heisman as well, possibly back-to-back Heisman Trophy winners for the Crimson Tide. Of course, last year, Devontae Smith had that outstanding season for Alabama on the way to the national championship win. And a quick side note, we did get some new information that Alabama head coach Nick Saban has just been named a finalist for the 2021 Eddie Robinson Award, which goes out to the top head coach according to the Football Writers Association of America. Of course, Coach Saban has won the award twice before, and he is an 8-time finalist. He joins Blake Anderson, the Utah State head coach, Dave Aranda out of Baylor, Luke Fickell. That will be Saban's opponent in the college football playoff. Fickell leading the Bearcats to the college football playoff. Thomas Hammock out of NIU. Jim Harbaugh, the Michigan head coach. Billy Napier out of Louisiana. Pat Narduzzi, the Pittsburgh head coach. Kalani Sitake out of BYU. Kirby Smart, of course, Georgia. Again, another team in the college football playoff. All 4 head coaches in the CFP are nominated for the Eddie Robinson Award. Mel Tucker getting a mention out of Michigan State. Kyle Whittingham, the Utah head coach, as well as Jeff Traylor, who led the University of Texas San Antonio Roadrunners to a very impressive season there in the Conference USA, UAB's conference for now, until they move up to the AAC in 2023. And again, all three players having outstanding seasons. As I mentioned earlier, Will Anderson leading the entire country in sacks at 15.5 this season. Bryce Young is right now second in passing touchdowns with 43 total. And he's only thrown 4 interceptions. He's second in the country as well in QBR at just under 89%. And he is also 4th in the country in total passing yards with just over 4,300. And again, with potentially 2 more games left, Bryce Young, Will Anderson, and Jameson Williams could all vastly surpass and gain even more credibility for these awards that they are nominated for if they are to pull out wins against the Cincinnati Bearcats coming up, as well as the winner of the Michigan-Georgia game. We could possibly see an SEC championship rematch for the national championship. It would also be the second national championship between the Alabama Crimson Tide and the Georgia Bulldogs. We all know how the first one went, so it'll be definitely interesting to see how the college football playoff pans out over the next couple of weeks. I did mention that you can find all of this information right now over on our website, cbs42.com. There you can find all of the latest information regarding the Crimson Tide as well as college football in general. Again, we are getting set for lots and lots of bowl games coming up, specifically in the SEC. Auburn being invited to the Birmingham Bowl, so the Tigers will be playing at the brand new Protective Stadium. Very excited to see that. And of course, the lone football game this weekend in Division I football will be the Army versus Navy game. Army coming in at 8-3. Navy flipped record at 3-8. That game will be live at 2 o'clock, and you can actually watch it right here on CBS 42. So very excited to bring you that game to you. Again, the lone college football game, something to hold you over until bowl season starts, and specifically until the Crimson Tide take the field again. Again, as I mentioned, Auburn will be partaking in the Birmingham Bowl, the Ticket Smarter Birmingham Bowl. They will be facing the Houston Cougars. Again, that game is scheduled for Tuesday, December 28th at about 11 a.m. kickoff time. There are plenty of other exciting football games happening. The official start to bowl season will begin in about 10 days on Friday, December 17th, as the 2 games will be the Bahamas Bowl and the Tail Greeter Cure Bowl. Middle Tennessee will be taking on Toledo in the Bahamas Bowl. Northern Illinois and Coastal Carolina, Cinderella story from last season, will be in the Cure Bowl. But did want to make mention that UAB also will be playing in a bowl game. They will be taking on the 13th ranked BYU Cougars in the Radiance Technologies Independence Bowl. That game is slated for Saturday, December 18th at around 2:30 p.m. And of course, everybody knows that the first games in the college football playoff, Alabama will be taking on Cincinnati in the Goodyear Cotton Bowl Classic, and Georgia will be taking on Michigan in the Capital One Orange Bowl. Both of those games are slated for New Year's Eve. The Alabama-Cincinnati game begins at 2:30 p.m., where Michigan and Georgia will be kicking off at about 6:30 p.m. And then we will have plenty of time to speculate on who will come out as champion, as the national championship game is slated for January 10th. That's a Monday. and that game will be kicking off at about 7 p.m. Appears Bryce Young has approached the podium, so we will send you there live now to hear comments from Bryce.
Bryce, first off, congrats on being named a Heisman finalist. But when that was announced last night, were you a little surprised that Will wasn't also included? Do you think he was deserving of a trip to New York?
Yeah, definitely. I definitely think he was deserving. If you look at numbers, you look at the production. I definitely think he deserves to be there. It's unfortunate that he's not going to be able to be there. That really sucks, but I definitely think he should be there.
Tony Sakalis, go ahead.
Just how big has Jameson Williams been? And then also, how confident are you in Ja'Cory Brooks and Trayshawn Holden to kind of step up and fill in that role for Mechie on the other side?
Jamo stepping up and playing like he did in a big moment. Honestly, it's not something that I would say is surprising for me. Seeing how he works, he's stepped up in big moments, countless times. So, for him to step up, that's Jamo. So, obviously he's huge for us. And then as far as Ja'Cory and Trey, those are guys that I've worked with a lot. You see the work that they put in throughout the week. Guys that I have, tremendous confidence in. Again, they understand the moment, they understand what it's going to take, but they know that, that just means they know they have to step up, and that's been our mantra, and that's been something that we've lived and operated by. So they're going to get a chance, get an opportunity, and I know they're going to take advantage of it.
Ivan, go ahead.
Hi, Bryce. Two things on the same topic. One, how did you learn growing up? How did you learn not to get rattled on the field? And two, when was the last time you felt rattled on the field?
I think it comes through experience. When you start playing athletics, you kind of just, you have to fill everything out, fill your process out. And, for me, I've kind of realized, just how I operate the best and function the best is typically from a more just calm, state of mind. So for me, it's just being in that that mindset, as much as I can, just to try to maximize, my efficiency and do what's best for the team. And again, it comes through reps, comes through experience. And then, truthfully, it really comes through faith for me. For me, how I kind of look at everything is, I'm not really in control, I would say, of what happens. I'm not in control of outcome. For me, I'm just I'm a vessel, and I'm a tool that's being, used, manipulated. So for me, everything's already written, everything's been determined, and, I have complete trust and faith in, where everything, how everything's going to unfold. So for me, that kind of clarity, that really takes, any sort of pressure, like not urgency, but any sort of any sort of tenseness out for me. That's just kind of what I believe. That's how I live by. So for me, that's how I view it. So because of that, it kind of helps me, it helps me be in the mindset that I am.
Do you remember the last time you were rattled on the field?
Rattled? I wouldn't say, I'd say as individually as a team, there's definitely times that, things don't go as planned, and you might have struggled on a rep. I might have missed a throw. I might have missed a read, a protection, whatever it may be. But for me, in those times, it's about how quickly you can get to the next play as a unit. How quickly can we turn the page? How quickly can we, just flip the chapter and make sure that we're ready to fix whatever needs to be fixed and go on to the next play, next drive, next series, whatever it may be. So for me, anytime something that happens and adversity hits, which it always is going to, it's about how you respond. So that's kind of how I choose to look at it.
Blake Topmeyer, go ahead.
Yeah, Bryce, I had two questions. Number one, what would it mean to you if you were to become the first Alabama quarterback to win the Heisman? And then number two, of all the plays that you've made this year, which one stands out maybe as your favorite play that you've made?
It obviously would be a huge blessing to follow the great quarterbacks that we've had, and to have this opportunity. it's a huge blessing and something I don't take for granted. But I also understand, the reason behind it, and that's us as a unit, us as a team. I'm definitely not, it's not just me. It takes all my teammates. It takes the coaches. It takes this environment, just everybody that's involved. Nutrition, strength and conditioning, everything. To get opportunity to go after accomplishment like this. So I'm truly grateful to be in the position that I am. And as far as an individual play, for me, I would say even for as far as individual, the biggest moments, I don't know if I can pinpoint a specific play, but really kind of the biggest moments come through when you see people, when you see people, one, that are all on the same page, but really when you see newer guys be able to step up and make plays in positions where they might not have been expected a week before or whatever it may be. So whether it be a running back that had to step up, whether it was Roydell, it was Jace, it's Trey, with a hurdle, or Roydell scoring in A&M, Jace making as many plays as he did. Maybe it's a receiver with Jacory making, stepping up in big moments, Trey stepping up in big moments on a short notice. With Seth stepping up, Dame being pushed into the lineup and stepping up. I think it's really, I can't pinpoint an individual play for that, but for me, the most exciting moments and the best moments for me are when you see guys just be ready and their time being called, and them to be able to capitalize and really come in and us be on the same page despite, whatever adversity might have hit.
Casagrande, go ahead.
Yeah, growing up, what did the Heisman Trophy mean to you when you were watching as a kid? Who was the first guy you remember seeing win a Heisman? It's a good question, actually. First guy I remember seeing, I don't know if I can pinpoint a specific first. Maybe like RG3. That makes me sound pretty young, probably, but maybe like RG3, I'd say, is that was kind of when I started turning from just it's a brown object going to end zone. It's like, oh yeah, this is actually football. There's, rhyme and reason behind it. So I became more conscious of a fan. So again, to be a finalist for such a prestigious award is a blessing. And again, it takes everyone, for me to be able to have this opportunity. So, just again, being able to be associated as a finalist is a true blessing.
Charlie Potter, go ahead.
You were also earlier this week by your teammates recognized as not only the MVP of the team, but a team captain. Just what did those two things mean to you, given that your teammates are the ones that vote on that?
Yeah, no, that means everything to me. To get that, to get, like you said, the fact that it came from my teammates, it came from my guys, and to be able to have the opportunity to win that award, and also to be a team captain, a permanent team captain. Not a lot of people can have that honor, and that's not something I take lightly at all. I understand, that means a lot to me. That's something I take a lot of pride in, and again, for it to come from my guys, for it to come from my teammates, that makes it exponentially sweeter. So it's definitely a blessing for me and not something I take lightly at all.
Hey, Kelly, go ahead.
Yeah, Bryce, with the little breaking game action, you get the chance to go to New York for this ceremony. What are you looking forward to most about the whole trip, or just taking that in?
Yeah, I'm looking forward to the experience. I'm looking forward to, being around everyone who's up there, being around the other guys that are up there. So, the whole experience in itself, that's something that's invaluable, and again, a blessing to have, and something I'm going to hold, just the opportunity to go to New York. That's something I'm going to hold on to for the rest of my life. So, all of the experience and, being able to be around those guys as well. So I'm super excited.
We got time for two more. Jeff, go ahead. Spiegel.
Yeah, Bryce, I know you're a big football fan. I know you're a big Mac Jones fan. What were your impressions of last night's Bills-Patriots game and Mac throwing 3 passes and them still winning the game? And have you ever been part of a game where you only threw 3 passes and you guys won?
Yeah, I think you said what was most important. They won the game. Mac won the game. That's what's most important. Mac's going to do whatever it takes to win, and that's what I strive to do. That's what all the quarterbacks try to do.
is do what it takes to win, and that's what Mac got done. So, you know, I see a win in, you know, in their that category, and you know, I haven't thrown 3 times a game, and I also have never played in, I don't remember what the conditions are, but those type of crazy conditions. So that's why. But yeah, like you said, Mac won the game, and that's always what's, you know, knowing Mac, that's what he cares about the most. So, you know, it was a win.
All right, last one with Ivan. Go ahead. You're muted, Ivan.
Sorry. As a kid, you always played with older age groups, and I was reading that you were in 7th grade playing with high school seniors. What did you learn from playing with older kids, and how did you keep them from picking on you?
You know, it was just, I guess that was just, for me, that was always someone I was more comfortable around. I guess when I was younger, at least I was more comfortable, whether it be sports or, you know, especially through sports, but just hanging around older kids. And, you know, for me, when it came to like playing older age groups, you know, wanting to push myself, wanting to find the best competition, want to be challenged. So that was always, you know, a big emphasis for me. But, you know, it was just, I don't know if it was like, you know, trying to keep people from picking on me or being off of me, just more creating genuine relations with, you know, genuine relationships with those people. And, you know, just, you know, just as a normal kid is having friends and being around people, they just, to me, it wasn't even really like oh my gosh, I'm around people that are older, I'm playing up. I was something I was just kind of used to. And I feel like a lot of people kind of just, you know, after a certain point, people get used to it too. So it wasn't really a huge dynamic after maybe like initially meeting people or being around them. That was just friends, teammates, whatever it may be, but it wasn't really a huge dynamic.
All right. Thank you, Bryce. Will be next.
And that was Alabama Crimson Tide quarterback Bryce Young, as he was just recently named to a slew of national awards, including the Heisman Trophy, and right on schedule. Will Anderson has approached the podium, so we will send you back out there to hear from him.
All right. First question. Go ahead, Charlie.
Yeah, hey, Will. I know throughout the season you said you were more focused on getting to a national championship instead of the Heisman and individual awards, but were you maybe a little bummed out that you didn't get an invite to New York?
Yeah, that's still kind of the same thing I'm on right now, just getting to a national championship. But, you know, it's God's plan. It's not my plan. So I'm just following what God's got for me. And, you know, I'm just going to keep on rolling. We good. Bryce there. We straight.
Michael Casagrande, go ahead.
Are you familiar with Aiden Hutchinson's game from Michigan? I know you guys get a lot of comparisons, but are you familiar with him and what he's done this year?
I've seen a couple of things on like the internet and stuff like that. You know, he's a hell of a player. You know, he's very physical. He can pass the rusher. So, you know, all credit to him. Congratulations to them as well.
Tony, go ahead.
Well, Nick talked about yummy rat poison heading into this game. Is the Heisman snub, is that kind of yummy rat poison for you? And do you kind of want to prove yourself to voters?
Nobody, I have nothing to prove to anybody. It's all what I do. Nobody expectations higher for me. Nobody standards going to be higher for me. It's all about what I do and the expectation I have for myself. So I'm just going to keep doing what I've been doing this whole season.
Nick Kelly, go ahead.
Well, you talked after the game about how Bryce was a deserving Heisman winner. What would your pitch be as to why he should win the Heisman?
You know, if you just go back and watch the whole season from beginning to right now, Bryce is very smart, very instinctive. He can make plays even in the toughest situations. You know, he can get away from getting sacked and everything. And his preparation the whole week and his leadership skills, I think that's what it takes, you know, just being a leader, vocal leader, showing people what is to do the right way. He comes to work hard. He never slacks. And I think that's why he should be where he is. And obviously he's there. So that's why I think that.
Mike Rodak, go ahead.
Yeah, I think you were in Charlotte last night for the Nagurski. Just when did you find out about the Heisman finalists? And is that during that whole banquet that you were at?
It was kind of like right before I found out. So, yeah, it was going on while I was there.
Just to, I guess, follow up on that, just what was it like to be at that banquet and to win the Nagurski?
You know, it meant everything. You know, he was a hard player, a really hard player. His story and everything of how he became the man he was and the person he was and the people he impacted. I mean, and the people who won that award before me, it's a tremendous blessing. And I'm happy that I was able to win that award. And it means the world to me.
Charlie, go ahead.
At the banquet on Sunday, your teammates recognized you as not only a team captain, but the most inspiring player. Just, I know individual accolades may not be something you focus on, but what does it mean for those two things to gain those, given that your teammates vote on them?
You know, I think it means a lot. I have to stand here to say that I am that person because of my teammates, just allowing them to trust me and, you know, just seeing how I work every day and everything like that. I just give all credit to them because, you know, they push me and help me be better every day as long as my coaches and my parents. So, I mean, just for them to acknowledge that, it means a lot to me.
Ivan Mizell, go ahead.
Hey, Will, what's the most amazing thing you've seen Bryce do either during the week or on Saturday? Is there a play that sticks out in your head?
Bryce has so many plays during the week. It's kind of hard because, like, I did an interview not too long ago, and I was telling the media that he has everything every quarterback we see. He can run, he can pass, he can extend plays with his arms, he can do everything. So in practice, you're going to see every type of QB there is in the world, a running quarterback, a passing quarterback, everything. He fakes you out. He makes you jump when you're not supposed to. I remember Coach Saban said something to one of the D linemen. He said it's not basketball because Bryce had made him jump in the air like we was playing basketball. That's one moment in the game, probably in the Auburn drive. That's probably one, like, historical things I've ever seen before, and how he kept his composure and everything like that. It was great.
Do you usually watch the offense? I mean, where were you for that Auburn drive?
Oh, I was right on the sideline watching the game, of course.
You try to watch the game. You're not back there resting or anything like that?
Oh, at this point in time, we was all up watching the game. But if it was just like a normal offensive drive or something like that, we sit down and talk as a defense just to make sure everything's going good.
Steven, go ahead.
Will, you talked about all the young Bulls that went out there and played their game during the SEC championship. But in practice, what has you impressed the most about Seth Mclaughlin on the offensive line?
You know, I remember Seth from high school. And me and him used to always talk and see if we was going to ever go against each other because he was in the same classification I was. And I always knew Seth had a little scrappiness in him. He wasn't no pushover. He was going to have a little scrappiness in him. And it's still in him. And he got his opportunity to go show the world what he can do. And, you know, I'm super proud of him. He's been doing the same thing since he got here. He's been scrappy. He fights hard and everything like that. So just to see him go out there and be a good dominant center and step in a role at a critical time like that, I'm very proud of him.
Tony, go ahead.
Well, you've been calling on the defense to kind of show that drive, that improvement they kind of have over the last months. What have you seen? Is this your full potential on defense?
You know, it's still room for improvement. But what I can say is we have been playing pretty good defense. And what I was stressing to you guys early this season, I feel like it's starting to click and we're starting to get there. And our best ball is still ahead of us.
Casagrande, go ahead.
If I could, have you ever messed up in practice and hit Bryce when he was wearing a Buck jersey?
One time, and I've never done it again. One time, we was doing 2-minute drill, and I swore I didn't hit Bryce. But it's kind of hard when you're passing the rusher and excuse me. When you're rushing the passer and you're going full speed and you're trying to stop, it's like your natural instinct to put your hands up. So I put my hands up one time, and he was throwing the ball, and my hand came down, I think, like on his arm in his hand. And, like, the whole practice, it just went like, is Bryce okay? And I was like, I got my coach, Sal, he cussed me out. He's like, I told you, you stupid. But, yeah, it's okay. We good, though. But that's the only time.
So he was okay?
Yeah, he was good. He was good.
And after the game Saturday, you were pretty fired up. What was that moment like for you when you were doing a Zoom interview? You were pretty passionate. What was that moment like for you?
It was very exciting. I just wanted some respect put on our name and remember that we are Alabama.
All right. Any other questions for Will? Go ahead and raise your hand. All right. Thank you, Will. That's it for today.
Sorry about that. That was Alabama linebacker Will Anderson, the reigning Bronco Nagurski Award winner for the most outstanding defensive player in the country. Once again, we did hear from Jameson Williams, who is up for the Biletnikoff Award for most outstanding wide receiver, as well as we also heard from quarterback Bryce Young, who has lots of award nominations this season. Of course, the big one being the Heisman, which will be announced this coming Saturday. He's also been nominated for the Walter Camp Award, which goes out to the most outstanding player on the offensive side of the football. The Maxwell Player of the Year Award, as well as the Davey O'Brien Award, which goes out to the top quarterback in the country. Will Anderson, as I mentioned, did just win the Bronco Nagurski Award last night, but he is also up for the Bednarik Award for the most for the Defensive Player of the Year in the country and all of college football. So very exciting. Hope to see lots of hardware given out to these players as they've really worked their tails off, really getting Alabama back to that number 1 seed and back into the college football playoff with a chance to repeat as national champions. Again, that will all begin on New Year's Eve against the 4th-ranked Cincinnati Bearcats. Looking forward to covering and looking at the tape of that game leading up to that game. Again, we are just a few weeks out for that. And then on January 10th, hoping that Alabama does defeat the Bearcats, they will be playing in the national championship between the winners of the Michigan Wolverine and Georgia Bulldog game that will be taking place later on New Year's Eve as well. So again, lots to cover, lots to pay attention to, but lucky for you all, you can find everything you need to know over on our website, cbs42.com. We've been covering college football all season long, courtesy of our terrific sports team. You can find all the latest information there, so I'll direct you all there. If you're watching us on Facebook, you can click that link in the description box as well as the comment section. It's that pinned comment there, and it will take you directly to our website. So that's going to do it for us today here on this latest edition of CBS 42 Now. I'm Phil Penarski. I want to thank you all so much for tuning in.